Hey everyone, ready for a deep dive into AI? We came across an idea, a potential stock, and I thought, wow, there's so many layers here. We have to explore this.
It's really changing fast and impacting so many industries.
Exactly. So we're looking at Nvidia. You've probably heard of them. They're known for their graphics processing units or GPUs.
And it's fascinating because they're not just for video games anymore. They're becoming like the backbone of AI development, powering everything from training these complex AI models to those massive data centers that fuel the cloud.
Okay, how do these GPUs actually give them an edge in AI? I mean, we have AMD and Intel too making processors.
Great question. See, AI, especially the kind we're talking about with machine learning and deep learning, it needs a ton of parallel processing power. GPUs, with their thousands of cores, are specifically designed to handle these massive computations way more efficiently than traditional CPUs.
So it's like a team of workers versus one person trying to do everything.
That's a great analogy. Nvidia saw this early on and really focused on optimizing their GPUs for AI applications, so they have a big head start in the market. Plus, strong partnerships with key players in the AI ecosystem.
Ecosystem, that's interesting. What does that look like in practice for NVIDIA?
Think of it as a network of collaborators. NVIDIA works closely with software developers, cloud providers like Amazon Web Services and Google Cloud, and even research institutions to make sure their GPUs are integrated into the tools and platforms that AI professionals use, creates a sort of sticky effect where developers get used to working with NVIDIA's tech, which drives further adoption and strengthens their position.
So it's not just the hardware, it's about building a whole community around it.
Precisely. A key difference for NVIDIA compared to some competitors.
All right, so powerful GPUs, the partnerships, the ecosystem.
Mhm.
Sounds compelling, but we need to address the other side,
Right.
the risks.
Absolutely. No investment is without risk, and NVIDIA is no exception. One of the biggest concerns is their valuation.
What does high valuation actually mean? And why should our listener care?
Essentially, NVIDIA's stock price is very high compared to their earnings. This means investors have really high expectations for their future growth.
So it's like betting on a young athlete with a lot of promise, but no championships yet.
Exactly. Lots of potential, but also the risk that NVIDIA might not live up to those expectations.
And they've got competition.
Yeah.
You mentioned AMD and Intel. How much of a threat are they?
Both are investing heavily to catch up to NVIDIA in the AI chip market. AMD especially has been making strides with their CPUs and GPUs for data centers.
So NVIDIA's dominance could be challenged.
Always a possibility. The tech landscape is incredibly dynamic, and today's leader can quickly become tomorrow's follower.
Okay, so high-flying stock, lots of potential, but some risks.
Yeah.
And on top of all that, we have to factor in the whole global landscape, right?
Absolutely. We're living in a time of increased geopolitical uncertainty, particularly with technology. The ongoing trade tensions between the US and China, for instance, could have a significant impact on companies like NVIDIA that rely on global supply chains and markets.
And I imagine shifts in regulations or tariffs could throw a wrench in the works, too.
Exactly. These are wild card factors that are difficult to predict, but can have a huge impact on a company's bottom line.
Okay, so we've covered NVIDIA's position, their strengths, those risks. It's clear they're at the forefront of a transformative technology.
And that's what's so interesting. We're not just talking computer chips. We're talking about a company enabling AI, which has the potential to reshape industries.
Right, and it's that potential that has investors excited. But for those of us who aren't stock market experts, what should we watch for to understand if NVIDIA's bet on AI is paying off?
One indicator is data center revenue. As companies adopt AI, the demand for powerful computing to run those applications is skyrocketing. NVIDIA is well positioned to benefit from that with their GPUs designed for data centers.
So if NVIDIA's data center revenue is growing, that's a good sign.
Exactly. It means their tech is being adopted by the companies building the future of AI.
Okay, that makes sense. But beyond the numbers, are there other trends or developments we should pay attention to?
Absolutely. One area to watch is autonomous driving. NVIDIA's been investing heavily in hardware and software platforms specifically for self-driving cars.
And that's a huge EE market.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about self-driving cars.
Exactly. If NVIDIA becomes the go-to for AI tech for autonomous vehicles, it could be a game changer.
So keep an eye on partnerships with car manufacturers, announcements about new self-driving tech, that sort of thing.
Exactly. Those are good indicators to watch for.
This is all really insightful. But I have to admit, it's a bit overwhelming. AI is so complex and changing fast. How can the average person make sense of it all?
It's definitely a challenge to stay on top of everything. But one approach is to focus on understanding the core concepts and applications of AI rather than getting lost in the technical details.
So what are some of those core concepts that are essential for the big picture?
One is machine learning. The idea that computers can learn from data without being explicitly programmed. It's driving a lot of AI applications we see today, like recommendations on Netflix or facial recognition.
Right, machine learning. I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
But how does that actually work?
Imagine you're teaching a computer to recognize cats. Instead of giving it rules to define what a cat looks like, you show it tons of images of cats. The computer then uses algorithms to analyze those images and identify patterns that distinguish cats from other things.
So it's like showing flashcards to a kid until they learn the objects.
Exactly. The more data the computer sees, the better it gets at recognizing cats in new images.
That's pretty amazing. And that's just one example.
Exactly. As AI technology keeps advancing, we'll see even more innovative and transformative applications in the next few years.
Okay, so machine learning is one core concept. What else?
Another important concept is deep learning. It's a subset of machine learning that uses artificial neural networks, which are kind of inspired by the human brain to process information in a more complex way.
Neural networks, that sounds pretty high-tech. How do those work?
Imagine a network of interconnected nodes, each one a simple processing unit. These nodes are organized in layers, and information flows through the network with each layer doing a calculation on the data.
So it's like a chain reaction, each step builds on the last one.
Exactly. And the deep part refers to the fact that these networks can have many layers, allowing them to process information in a more sophisticated way than traditional machine learning.
This is fascinating, but what does it all mean for the average person? How will these AI advancements impact our lives?
The implications are huge. We already see AI in healthcare diagnosing diseases, in finance detecting fraud, and in transportation with self-driving cars.
And those applications are only going to become more widespread and advanced.
Precisely. And as AI becomes more integrated into our lives, it's important to be aware of the benefits and the risks.
Okay, so let's talk about those risks. We touched on business risks for Nvidia, but what about the bigger societal risks with AI?
One concern is job displacement as automation gets more sophisticated. AI can do tasks previously done by humans, which impacts the workforce.
That's a valid concern.
Mhm.
We're already seeing it in some industries, and it's likely to become more widespread. And on top of that, there are concerns about AI being used in harmful or discriminatory ways.
Absolutely. If the data used to train AI is biased, the AI itself can perpetuate and even amplify those biases. This can lead to unfair outcomes in things like hiring, lending, or even criminal justice.
It's like garbage in, garbage out. If you feed an AI system bad data, you get bad results.
Exactly. So it's crucial to ensure AI is developed and used responsibly with safeguards to prevent unintended consequences.
This is getting pretty deep, but it's so important to have these conversations. We can't just blindly embrace technology without considering the consequences. And as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to encourage our listener to think about these issues too. AI isn't just some abstract concept, it's shaping our world and will become more influential in the future.
I agree. We need to approach AI with enthusiasm and caution, recognizing its potential and being vigilant about the downsides.
So we've really gone deep into the world of Nvidia, from their powerful GPUs to their role in AI. We've talked about the potential for growth, the competition, and even the ethics surrounding this tech.
It's been quite a journey, exploring the technical side, the market dynamics, and the impact on society.
And as we wrap up, I think it's important to come back to the beginning. We started by looking at Nvidia as an investment. So for our listeners wondering, should I invest in Nvidia? What are the key takeaways?
We have to say this. We're not giving financial advice. Any investment should be made after your own research, considering your finances, and talking to a financial advisor.
Right, we're just here to provide info and insights to help our listeners make informed decisions. So let's recap what we've learned. What could drive Nvidia's success in the future?
One key driver is the growth of the AI market. As more industries use AI, the demand for NVIDIA's GPUs will likely increase.
And we saw how their partnerships and the ecosystem they've built give them an advantage.
Exactly. Their collaborations with developers, cloud providers, and researchers create a network that's hard to compete with.
But we also talked about the risks Nvidia's valuation is based on high expectations for growth, which might not happen.
Right. Their stock price already shows a lot of optimism about their future. If they don't meet those expectations, their stock could be affected.
And there's competition from AMD and Intel, who are trying to catch up in the AI chip market.
The tech world changes constantly. NVIDIA might be leading now, but they need to keep innovating to stay ahead.
So investing in Nvidia is kind of a calculated risk. Big potential upside, but also risks to consider.
That's a good way to put it. You have to weigh the rewards against the risk and make a choice that fits your goals and risk tolerance.
Beyond the financial side, I think our deep dive shows something bigger. Nvidia's story isn't just about a company. It's about how technology can change the world.
AI isn't some future thing anymore. It's here, it's changing quickly, and it's already affecting us.
And as we've seen, that impact goes beyond just the tech industry. AI is transforming healthcare, finance, transportation, so many things.
It can solve some of the world's biggest problems, but it also has risks and ethical issues.
So as we end this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a challenge. Engage with AI, learn about it, and be part of the conversation about how we shape its future.
It's a future we're all building together. We need to make sure AI is used for good and that everyone benefits.
Well said. This deep dive has been insightful, and I hope it's made you think.
I hope so too.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking questions about the world.